Alright, what's up everyone, Duquesne23 here, and today I'm going to show everyone how to have volumes that actually take away FXs or they add them, onto the map or something as you walk through them. We saw this in the little Forge demo, and I made a quick little demo here. This is kind of like my test map of a bunch of things. And I made a little demo, and look, it looks like there's water down there. So you drop through the hole, and then you're underwater, and then you got bubbles and fish going around. And so basically you can make yourself like another door over here or something, and as you exit the door, it disappears because you exit actually the hill and everything. If you notice, once I go into the hill, all this stuff shows back up here. So that's just something really cool that you're able to do now. This one is a little bit more complicated because there's a lot more involved with it. Like at least all this stuff is a lot more involved with it here. So basically though, what I'm going to be doing, I don't know why all of a sudden is this glitching out where it's not showing the one thing. Oh, lovely, perfect. That's just what I wanted. Okay, so basically though, here it finally showed back up. So basically though, what happens is what you need to do is do a script on this brain. You just spawn in a brain and you do a script on the brain, and basically the script just tells the brain the boundary check enters. So once a player enters the boundary, then you go to action 1 in the screen effects set underwater, and that's all you have to do. You can have it to where it has the filter underwater, and then you can change the FX to where it has bubbles or something underwater if you wanted to. So you can change this to anything, heat distortion, underwater, whatever you can change it to. And then you have action 2, power set alpha on activator. So one thing you need to also remember is going to players, you need to have team activator add on here. So you need to be able to have this on there. If you don't have activator add on there, then it basically kind of screws you over and stuff. I mean, not team activator, you just need activator add on there. Because team basically means that this will activate for your entire team. And if you just do activator add, it'll just activate for the person in here. So yeah, so basically this right here, the action 2 is actually set for the fish going around. So that's why this action 2 is set right here. So if you don't want the fish, you could totally delete this action 2 and just have this if you just want the screen effects themselves. So basically though, now that you have that there, you want to have a script number 2. Basically, it's just boundary check exit. So whenever the player exits the boundary, things will happen. So the action 1, just same thing, screen effect set, and just go back to default. Whatever your default map's screen effect is. If you don't want to go back to default, you can of course change it to go to whatever else you want right there. But I'm going to have mine on default. And then action 2, channel alpha, state off, and then activator. That is actually what that is, and make sure of course you have the player's activator add on here also. So basically, again, this action 2 is strictly for the moving fish. You don't have to have the moving fish on there, and if you don't want that, just don't worry about the action 2 itself. So basically, once you do that, once you spawn in, and then you go through, and there you go. It starts showing back up, and then you get out, and it's working like that. So basically though, on the fish part here, since you have the 2 activators, the 2 actions for the fish on the brain, if you do want to spawn in fish or just any other object or something like that to appear once you go in, just start a script and just do power check alpha, channel alpha state on, and then the action 1 is spawn and force off. So you're not forcing it if it's blocked by a player or something. If you can turn it on if it is going to be blocked by a player, so that it forces it to turn on itself. But basically that's all you have to do is whenever this alpha state is on, it spawns, the fish spawns. And then script 2 is just whenever the alpha state is off, it despawns. So it's fairly simple, fairly self-explanatory there. And whenever that happens, this whole thing happens right here. So you can have some cool stuff and everything. Now guys, let's say something a little bit different. Let's say I'm out here, and let's have a weird, let's go ahead and put an FX here. I don't think we need snow. Let's say it's really strange. Whoa, it's raining in the desert. Oh my gosh. But then let's say you don't want to have rain, because right now currently rain goes through the terrain itself right here. So that's not good. We don't want to have rain going through the terrain. That's really bad. So let's go ahead and make ourselves a little overhang here, a big enough one that's high enough. And look, oh no, we don't want that. So what you want to do, guys, is just go over to extras, go over to scripting, go to script brain. I always do colorables so you can actually change them and stuff if you want to. And so basically there, you go ahead and line it up wherever you want it. And then you go ahead and go to object properties. Make sure you do the boundary to cylinder or whatever. It doesn't even matter. You could show the boundary if you want, but I always like keeping it off. So then let's go ahead and crank up the size of the boundary. You got to crank up the top and bottom. Also, let's just go all the way down and then crank up this all the way at least a little bit so we can, you know, mess with it some. So basically what you are doing here is you are messing with, oh, did the boundary get turned on? Show on off. Okay, nope, there we go. But basically what you're doing here is you're going to be causing the outside rain of the entire map to disappear. So if you do make a structure, you won't have rain going through the middle of your structure. So basically you want to come down here, click add script, go to script 1, the condition, go to the left and it's boundary check, enter, because once the player enters into this boundary, and you know, you don't really mess with anything else there. Then just go to action 1 and you want to go over to basically the same thing that was in the last one, screen effects set. So since this is not a filter, you can just say default or ignore or whatever, you know, or none, if depending on what you want to do. If you do want to have a filter, you can have a filter show up for that. But basically with the FX, you just put none on there. So you just don't want to have any FX show up on this, and make sure of course you go to players and activator add on there. So, and then you go add script. You want to go to script 2 and again boundary check on exit, and then action 1 we want to go over all the way over to the screen effects set, and then again filter, doesn't matter if you want, and then the FX default, and make sure you go to again player activator add. So if this basically, as it exits, the player will go back to the default FX, which is on the map, which that is currently what is raining. So as we go ahead and check this, it's like, oh look, it's raining, but it's going through our building. But then as you go in, it disappears. So if you do have a small little building here, like, you know, it doesn't matter what size building, and then as you exit the building, it didn't actually work. Great. Sometimes, guys, this is a great example of this. Sometimes this happens. If you notice, I didn't put these to ignore, the exit to ignore. For some reason, sometimes the scripting messes up to where it does that. Once it actually works the first time, it will not reset, but sometimes it actually resets itself whenever you first actually try it. So let's go ahead and try this again. Let's enter in and then come out. There we go. There's the rain. As we enter into it, it disappears. As we exit it, it shows back up the rain. So that could be like you entering into a building and exiting a building itself. So guys, I hope this really helped y'all out. I hope this made it to where it's, easier for y'all to make y'all's maps have all this rain or whatever you want to have on it, snow, whatever. And, but once you enter a building, all of that stuff will disappear. So it makes it a lot more realistic. And guys, for a lot more Halo 5 Forge tutorials, be sure to subscribe and be sure to like this video. And remember guys, let's forge a new Halo.